What's up, scoundrels? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to host a tournament inside UFC 4 between the top 15 pound-for-pound men fighters in the entire organization. Just to clarify, Amanda Nunes will not be participating. In real life, it would be a terrible idea to throw two men into a cage fight with over 100-pound difference in weight, but it happened in UFC 1 and it's going to happen today. Each fight will be 100% controlled by the CPU on the highest skill level, and each fighter will fight at their real-life weight. Here's a look at the bracket. Volkanovski is getting a first-round bye thanks to his #1 pound-for-pound ranking. Jon Jones hasn't fought in almost 3 years, but is still ranked number 11th. That says a lot about the man boner Dana White has for him and how good he would have been if he didn't have a Coca-Cola addiction. There are two heavyweights participating in this event. Number 5, Francis Ngannou, is going to slug it out with 145-pound Max Holloway, and Stipe Miocic has an interesting matchup with number 2 overall Israel Adesanya. And there are two flyweights who will be competing at half the weight as Ngannou, Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo, who is up first against number 8 Dustin Poirier. Not a crazy statistical advantage in this one compared to the other fights, but in the first 10 seconds, those extra 30 pounds really started to pay off. Davison never had a good moment in this fight. The octagon was looking like Adrian Peterson's household. 4 minutes in, he took an uppercut and just took his beating until the ref stopped it. Dustin Poirier advances to the second round and will face number 1 overall Alexander the Great. The next fight features the largest weight and reach advantage of the first round. Both fighters are powerful strikers in the respective weight class, but I think we all know what's about to happen here, so I'll just roll the clip.
Francis Ngannou, every time he loads up and extends,
The poor soul that has to fight Ngannou in the next round will be decided between a pretty fair matchup in Petr Yan and Kamaru Usman. However, Kamaru does have the stat advantage across the board, and the game hasn't been updated since he became a meme. Peter really wanted the glove touch, and my buddy that I always watch the UFC fights with despises this aspect of the UFC. He wishes they would never do this and just get right into exchanging brain damage with each other. Yet for some reason, he never seemed to appreciate the Middle Eastern live leak videos I shared with him. Really goes on to show you whose father had a better rear naked choke growing up. Kamaru found a way to make this tournament boring. He landed around 40 uncontested punches on the ground, but was stood up before he could finish the fight. Peter didn't seem to enjoy that groping session. He was getting hit, but he was pissed off and doing some damage. This fight made it into the third round, but Kamaru got the takedown. He beat out his stamina and went for an armbar. Peter didn't even fight it, and he was submitted. Probably a good career choice considering Ngannou is waiting for the winner of this fight in the next round. The last flyweight in this tournament is up next against Charles Oliveira. Moreno only has a 4-inch reach disadvantage, but his main problem was getting kicked in the face. He was doing a good job stopping takedowns, but Oliveira eventually got him down. Moreno went for 2 submissions in a row but couldn't finish. He was on top, rolled up like a Michael J. Fox blunt, so he decided he'd be better off getting beaten up flat on his back. Oliveira drained his energy from punching him in the face, and Moreno goes for a Kimura, and Charles is too tired to escape it. Brandon Moreno pulls off the first upset of the first round, but sadly he has to fight either Jon Jones or Leon Edwards in the next round. Jon Jones has the largest reach in the competition and a 10-inch advantage on Leon Edwards. Like Usman, Edwards hasn't been updated since his last fight, but he was holding his own in this one. UFC 4 has Jon Jones as a 5-star fighter, but the game really doesn't do justice for how effective Jon's ground game is. This match turned into a kickboxing fight for several minutes. Edward had some opportunities, but Jones is too long and on too many performance enhancers for him to do anything. Jones got a takedown and went for a submission, which was so close to being finished. The veins were even bulging, which is a good indicator that they're passing out. Jones was still in control, so he landed some WWE strikes, went for a triangle, and it's all over. Good luck and God bless Moreno. Another big size mismatch between the bantamweight and light heavyweight champions. A minute in and Sterling is out on his feet. Yuri is aggressively looking for the finish, but he missed his window of opportunity. Sterling gets his back and is controlling him like a puppet, elbow deep in his butt cheeks. Yuri goes for a painful ride and is caught in an armbar. He didn't stand a chance of getting out of it, but I respect the pride he has. He never tapped, he just let him break his arm. But to be fair, he was just defeated by a middle schooler's drippy 2K character. Last fight of the first round, Izzy versus Miocic. Call me gay for looking, but why does it look like the game made a penis bulge for Adesanya? I've seen a lot of his fights, and my research tells me it's not inaccurate, but odd flex by the game developers. Pretty even fight in this one. Miocic stunned Izzy in the first 20 seconds, but Izzy kept spamming buttons. Miocic landed another big right, had his big titty jiggling. Izzy was landing good strikes, but never had much power behind them. In the second round, Izzy was attacking all over his opponent's body, but was still getting rocked by one good strike at a time. Izzy kept going for his body like he was Dior Johnson, and this led to him getting some big open strikes to Miocic's head. And going into the third and final round, it's 1-1. Izzy was throwing way more combinations, but being the lighter fighter seemed to help him here. He caused the first health event to a leg, and by the end of it, he was dropping him with body strikes.
whoa! on. He connects there. Oh! Oh!
Nice body kick.
They went the distance and Izzy won 29-27 after a 10-8 third round. And here's what the bracket looks like by the second round of the tournament. We get to see Volkanovski warm up against Poirier. The Nigerian Nightmare has to face a Nigerian sleep paralysis demon. Interesting matchup with the only two advancing underdogs, but Jon Jones will never be an underdog for as long as this game isn't rated M. And Aljamain Sterling is going to need another legal sodomy event to get past number 2 overall Adesina. This is the first realistic fight matchup yet. Volk is actually the backup lightweight fighter in UFC 280, and as long as the Russians don't give their lab-made athletes a new software update, aka steroids, he should run through the division in my opinion. Volkanovski had control of this fight from the very start. He was able to get a takedown whenever he wanted. He had Poirier on his back for most of the first round. I might as well have replaced Dustin with his wife in this one. She'd at least look more comfortable out there. Second fight of the second round, and Ngannou has 80 pounds and a 7-inch reach advantage on Usman. This one was off to an entertaining start. Usman had a bold strategy of standing right in front of Ngannou's face. Usman tried to make this a boring fight, but Ngannou was able to keep it on the feet for the most part. Early in the second round, Ngannou had 2 easy opportunities to put him away, but Usman is like the Black Crimson Chin from the Very Odd Parents. Eventually, his face armor wore off, and Ngannou dropped him and wasn't missing his chance this time. Herb Dean was in no rush to stop this one. He was out since the uppercut, but how often do you get to watch one of the all-time greats have a handful of Ford Escorts dropped on his face? Largest reach advantage yet, Jones 84 inches, Moreno 70 inches. Diego versus Goliath. Jon Jones wasn't messing around in this one. He was keeping his distance, landing strikes while only taking a light punch or kick here and there. The fans are chanting USA for Jones, but more realistically, they should be chanting USDA in this match. Jon Jones scored a takedown. It looks like Moreno is going for a leg triangle. He turned this into an arm bar, but Jones was already out of it to begin with. That pretty much ends the first round. The replays look like another schoolyard bullying session. The second round barely started, and Jones gets a knockdown with his right hand. Jones is on his back going for a guillotine. Moreno immediately counters into a Von Flue. Jones' escape bar isn't moving. His head veins are out, and Moreno pulls off the greatest upset of all time and gives Jon Jones his first real loss of his career. The last spot of the final four is between Israel Adesanya and Aljamain Sterling. Izzy has a huge height and reach advantage, but Sterling was beating him at his own game and scored a takedown in the opening seconds. Sterling stuns him twice in a row with head kicks, but Izzy realizes he can knock him down with basic hand combinations. He knocks him down again, but has no interest in turning this into a wrestling match. In the second round, Sterling had him on his back, but Izzy got up and wasn't happy that he messed up his game plan. And yeah, just go ahead and watch that.
And connecting with a 39%. Wow!
Sterling went into southpaw for 1 second, and the next thing he knows, he's waking up in a hospital bed in his mid-40s. This brings us into the final four, and I like the weight discrepancy we have in these matchups. First up is the pound-for-pound champ Volkanovski versus the real favorite in this competition, 250 pounds Francis Ngannou. Volk was not scared in this match. He came out swinging, but if Ngannou lands one good punch, it should all be over.
Nice punch by Francis Ngannou. Slips the punch.
Beautiful leg kick throw.
They're still going back and forth, but Volk drops Ngannou with a right uppercut. Volk is looking really comfortable versus a heavyweight champion. To be fair, he used to look like a mixture of the Michelin Man and Hasbulla. Ngannou lands a nice combo on the cage, but somehow doesn't finish him off. Volk goes on to wobble him with a head kick, and it is his fight to lose at this point. He lands a takedown, but Ngannou off his back pulls off a Kimura and finishes off the pound-for-pound champion in the least expected way possible. He is the first fighter in the championship and will take on the winner of Moreno versus Adesanya. Izzy couldn't have managed the distance any better in the first round, probably outscored him 10-8. Can the little Mexican that could turn this fight around?
Whoa! There's not allowed. Whoa! Huge right hand!
What a fantastic...
Looked like it did stun him a little bit. Oh man, this ground and pound is good. Probably my favorite striking realm in MMA, and he's as good as he gets.
And he has a great ground game. Nobody has forced him to use it yet. Let's see what he does with this position.
Moreno's lower jaw looking extremely swollen now.
Oh! He needs to start looking to finish now.
Oh!
He's getting lit up right now, John.
Adesanya's got the full mount. Oh, and that one snapped the head back
Honestly, thankfully Moreno's underdog story came to an end here. I love this dude and all, but the last thing I want to see at the end of this video is Ngannou turning this man's face into a mushy chimichanga. Here was a championship matchup between Adesina and Ngannou, even height, similar reach, and regardless of the favors that the developers did for Israel, Francis is a tad bit girthier at 250 pounds. No glove touch in this one. They both came out like they were auditioning for roles in Django too.
Oh, beautiful job by him there. Maybe the opponent was expecting the straight punch. Oh!
He's in trouble. He's hurt bad.
Oh, straight right.
But Francis is just so much more powerful. I thought this fight was over after Francis landed an overhand right and was squaring off on his face on the ground, but Izzy managed to get back up and stole the momentum for once. He was dodging, landed punches, and even landed a perfect knockout capable kick, but Ngannou ate that up. Francis was beating Izzy at his own game. He managed to stun him with a body kick. Izzy finally stuns him back, but Ngannou dodges his strike attempts while half asleep on his feet. Izzy tries setting up a question mark kick, but backs out of it. He decides it's a better idea to box the air in front of Ngannou, and he's gonna take a nap. I can't say I'm too surprised by the end result of this tournament. I know this video goes against the very definition of pound for pound rankings, but the heavyweights are a different breed. I love making UFC 4 content, so let me know if you guys want more. Dana White, please update your game and stop DDoSing Stream East. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.